Imagine being 13 years old, completely blind and standing on the biggest stage you've ever known. America's Got Talent. Knowing that millions of people are watching, but you can't see a single face. That's exactly where Marcelito Santos, from a small province in the Philippines, found himself in 2024. Marcelito was born blind in a tiny barangay outside Manila. His family lived in a one-room, concrete house with a tin roof that leaked every rainy season. His father worked as a tricycle driver, earning barely enough to feed 6 children. Music was never part of the plan. It was a luxury they couldn't afford. But from the moment Marcelito was a toddler, he could hum any song he heard on the radio perfectly. Neighbors started calling him the Little Radio when he was 5. A local church choir director heard him sing during Sunday Mass and begged his parents to let the boy join. That choir became his entire world. Life, though, had other plans. When Marcelito was 9, his father suffered a stroke and could no longer drive. The family income vanished overnight. Marcelito's mother took in laundry, but it wasn't enough. The boy who once sang joyfully now heard his parents arguing at night about which child would have to drop out of school. Marcelito made the decision himself. He quit school at 11 to help his mother sell bottled water on the street every day. He stood under the burning sun calling out to jeepney drivers and passengers, his white cane tapping the pavement. He kept singing while he worked, and commuters started filming him on their phones. Those short clips went viral across the Philippines. People called him the blind boy who sings like an angel. A local vlogger discovered him and uploaded a longer video titled, "Blind Street Vendor Shocks Everyone with His Voice." Overnight, it hit 10 million views. Strangers sent donations. A music teacher in Manila offered free online lessons for the first time. Marcelino dared to dream bigger than the corner where he sold water. When AGT announced open auditions in Asia, that same teacher paid for his passport and plane ticket to Los Angeles. His mother cried the entire flight. She had never left the Philippines, and now her blind son was flying across the world alone, with only a volunteer escort. The day of the audition, Marcelito stood backstage, clutching his cane, listening to the roar of the crowd. He couldn't see, he could feel the heat of the stage lights, and hear the judges talking among themselves. When Howie asked him why he was there, Marcelito answered in soft, careful English, "I want to sing for my family, so my brothers and sisters can go back to school." The audience went quiet. Simon leaned forward, already skeptical. Another sob story. He thought. Then Marcelito began to sing "You Raise Me Up." No backing track, no instruments, just a 13-year-old blind boy and a voice that sounded 20 years older. The first note floated out pure and steady. By the time he reached the chorus, people in the front row were crying. Heidi was wiping her eyes. Sophia had her hand over her mouth. Simon's eyebrows, usually frozen in judgment, slowly climbed higher and higher. When Marcelito hit the final soaring note and held it effortlessly, the entire theater exploded. He couldn't see it, but 3,000 people were on their feet. He just stood there smiling, waiting for someone to tell him what happened. Then he heard Howie's voice crack. "Marcelito, that was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard." On this stage, Heidi was already slamming the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down around him. He reached out, felt the paper falling on his arms, and started laughing through tears. Simon stood up, something he almost never does, and applauded backstage. The moment they told him he was going straight to the live shows, Marcelito dropped to his knees and thanked God in Tagalog. His mother, watching the live stream at 3:00 a.m. in the Philippines, screamed so loud the neighbors thought someone had died. Within hours, the clip of the golden buzzer was everywhere. 100 million views in a week, but the journey was just beginning. The live rounds were brutal, rehearsals were long, and Marcelito had to memorize every step across the massive stage, using only counts and touches. Producers worried he might walk off the edge. He never did. Every time he felt lost, he'd tap his cane twice, find his mark, and start singing. Quarterfinals, he sang Hallelujah and made Simon tear up on live television. Semifinals, he performed an original song he wrote for his mother, called Salamat Nanay, and the entire audience sang the chorus back to him. In broken Tagalog they'd learned from YouTube. The finals were the heaviest pressure of his life. He was up against dancers, magicians, and comedy acts with huge production. Marcelito chose Andrea Bocelli's Time to Say Goodbye, singing half in English, half in Italian, a language he taught himself by listening to YouTube videos over and over. When he finished, There wasn't a dry eye in the Dolby Theater, including Simon Cowell, who simply said, "Young man, you are what this show is all about." I have no words he didn't win first place. America gave that to a dance crew. But Marcelito came in second, and something bigger happened. Celine Dion saw his performance online and invited him to open for her in Las Vegas. Record labels flew to Manila. His family moved out of the leaking house into a real home. All 5 of his siblings are back in school. And Marcelito, he's only 13, blind and now one of the most loved voices on the planet. Sometimes the greatest miracles don't need sight. They just need a heart that refuses to stop singing. Marcelito Santos proved that on the AGT stage, and the world will never forget the night. A little boy from the streets of the Philippines made Simon Cowell believe in angels again.